I've been bout my papyrus since I've been in it. Put me in the debate, you know I'm gon' win it. If I scream black power, don't get timid. If I say black city, I'm talking about Kemet. If I say black city, I'm talking about Kemet. Primary research and we done pushed it to the limits. All you dudes finished. The king counting cattle up with brother Reggie. When I'm in Oakland smoking, bro, they love the Chevy. Back in the day, it was the spokes on the chariot. Long procession when the king got carried out to every spot. Woman looking nice as ISIS. I read ancient texts, so my advice is priceless. Nubian gold, your ice don't entice us. Beating me harder than counting grains in your spices. Your heart was beating, but your brain dead, you're lifeless. Yo, they ain't nothing like us, yo. Don't try to make me mad. Make me smile and say you love me, man. That's real right there. Yeah, come on. You should listen to your main man's advice. Do a YouTube and apologize like Dice. Or the back fade coming like the Antichrist. Egyptologists see me reading and said that I'm nice. I got a speller with your name on it. I'm like Sargon. You the type of dude wake up and your car gone. Told, cause of the money you owe. Before you stream, you should clean up that humble abode. Like Akhenaten City for my woman in gold. I keep the pseudos running, people coming in droves. You catch me on a live stream with Pan-African James. When we building, call us by our African names. I'm for the children. And ain't nothing happen to change. We on that black hype, so we still packing them things for protection. Got connections. My complexion, pure black, that's the S. Make me smile. You love me? Show me some love. All right.
All right, what's up with the people? We in the building, and I'm gonna give a salute. Play this old school jam and see if we find a lie in this song.
When it was Kemet, Black Egypt, it was a Nile Valley civilization. Black Egypt, it wasn't no Mediterranean culture, like and subscribe. You gon' get tormented for 4 minutes if it's war when it just said Jeshurun got a false door in it. The Nubian flow, that's before Kemet. My Sakim T got rubies and gold, and it's fit for a Kushite king. But what it look like, the green Sahara ring bearer, bring terror to your satellite kingdom, so they do not bother me. Scarification look like wavy line pottery, Kush with the black top pots. I rap top notch, and I could kick you till your laptop stops. I'm like Tahaka, Shabaka, or Pianki, the author's a father. Any cocky, I came down the Nile through the lands of Kush, living a pre-dynastic pharaoh way and marrow way. Kerma, Khartoum, or Simna by the 5th cataract. Now I put the 5th wheel on the Cadillac. So much ride, a white man couldn't battle that though, they had to paddle back. Black Egypt, Black Egypt, Black Egypt. You gotta look and see where the Nile started. Yeah. Black Egypt. How it's easier to go downstream than upstream.
Black Egypt in the building, where all the trolls at? We need some of them paid trolls to come roll through. Check us out.
What you know about Dynasty 00? Roll through with Shimsu, Heru on the standard. Ta-Nehisi, Sudanese G's. Try to test me. I'm an archer from Taseti, the squad ready, so I'm stepping in with the extra thin leopard skin. A tail on the apron with my crown on. You can crack jokes, but I ain't the one to clown on. Hey yo, Egypt was black, and that's a fact. All you little suckers need to step on back. They tried to throw us off, but we kept on track. We started doing research, but you slept on that. And with Kemet, it don't matter what the name mean. If it's a black culture, then that's the same thing. Race science is a lame thing. Ever since Nubian times, I let the chain swing. How the first known of Egypt was Taseti, but Taseti was Taseti already. Yep, it meant the land of the bow, and when Egyptians needed archers, this is where they would go to recruit them. I got arrows and I'll shoot them. Who them fake pharaohs, I uproot them and usurp them.
Black Egypt, we usurp them, Black Egypt, usurp them, Black Egypt. Alright. Black Egypt. What's up with the people in the building who ain't changed their stance? What's up with all my people who knew they was right?
Black Egypt.
Yep, that's a banger right off that Fights Over Egypt album. If you ain't got it, you can go on and get it, go on and support it, play that at your conscious events. You need something to play when they just playing nonsense. You need to say, hold on, let me throw on this slapper and just change the whole vibe. What's up with the people though? Let me go on and pull up some videos, man. Why you ain't pull them up already? Cause I just thought of that, bro. Calm down. This show be live. We just got all the content already, so we ain't got a trip. You on the dig? We do not have to trip. Let me see videos. So, before I go in, and if you're new to my channel, anybody find this video, there's hundreds of videos discussing this subject, but I just often reiterate it probably twice a month. So I'm gonna put y'all up on game, because over the past 5 years, we've been debating over whether Kemet actually meant the land of black people. In our research, we provided and unraveled and talked to scholars about so much information. I want to bring y'all up to speed. So my initial stance was that Kim, the ancient Egyptian word Kim, means black, and Kemet could possibly indeed mean black people. And after further research and after talking to scholars and everybody else, I can say authoritatively and speak with anyone who want to talk about it, about the ancient name of Egypt and why this would be the case. Why would they call themselves black people? Where did that come from? And what reverence was placed on being black people? We learned that by following the works of Brother Reggie, who put us up on game on the cattle culture and how the black cows took their place all throughout the culture of Egypt, but you find the black cow being superior even in the pantheon of Egypt, where we see bulls and cows all over the place. You can find Amun as a ram, but you find Hathor as this cow. The king of kings is the bull of bulls. And the divine cattle that we know to be this black cattle was also known as Kemet. So we'll learn after we watch this quick video to give anybody who don't know where we coming from, act like we just off on a tangent. Let's see what the scholars have to say about it.
A hierarchy of race like that developed by Morton, Knott, and Glidden, and still deployed today by white supremacists, cannot be sustained if not one but two great black civilizations arose in Africa at the dawn of history. It is therefore entirely appropriate and even necessary to confront constructions of race for Nubian Egypt in the recent past and acknowledge both civilizations as African and black.
So did you face any of that type of backlash or harsh feedback from your stance on ancient Egypt?
So yes, but interestingly, I haven't received any harsh feedback from Egyptologists. When I go around and I give talks on this subject, the Egyptologists who've been in the audience of my talks are very receptive, and they think that this is really important work and that I need to keep forging ahead with it. But I have gotten negative feedback, especially over email from Egyptians. So it's an interesting conundrum where there are some Egyptians who will tell me, I mean, these are people I don't know who are just like finding out how to contact me and send me an email and say, what you're doing is wrong. The ancient Egyptian culture was not a black culture. Modern Egyptians are not black people. What you're doing is dangerous. You need to stop saying this, which of course, I'm not going to stop saying this. And I try to explain what my work is about. And I also try to explain, you see, our perspective in America on what black is different from a lot of the rest of the world. And so I try to explain our American context of that word. But yeah, I've definitely gotten some harsh feedback.
First off, the Egyptians, of course, were African, and we have evidence from Herodotus and other sources that Africans tended to be black, that they were a range of colors that would constitute black today, and they were actually, the Greek words that are used for them is black.
Now, don't misunderstand me. I am not saying that the ancient Egyptians were not black as we Americans perceive it. They were. The way we define black with mixed race.
Who still argue against this? I mean, it seemed like you'd be a fool to be trying to argue against this in the face of all this evidence. But we got some paid agents and some dummies out here, so we stay on their helmet constantly.
It's one drop rule. The way we define black as a positive thing, the Egyptians were black.
So you're suggesting maybe these people migrated north?
Yes, or their culture did, and them. Really east to the Nile Valley. East and north.
East and north.
Yeah.
I see. So today in Egypt, the archaeologists often refer to, and I've been there, to connections between ancient Egyptian culture and the Sumerian culture and the Crete culture and the Persian culture. Yet when you visit Egypt, especially around the Aswan and the southern part of the Nile, you see mostly black people.
Yes. Yeah. And we know from the anthropological evidence that the people just predating the dynastic civilization in the Nabta Playa region were black African people.
I can sympathize with the impulse to sort of to be very strident, to be very argumentative, to be very certain, to act very certain about the blackness of the ancient Egyptians, because for the longest time, the very longest time, there was this prevailing idea that black is Africa and Africa is less than, right? That no matter what happens, no matter how you cast it, anytime you fall on the wrong side of that dividing line between black and not black, even not between black and white, whatever's coming from that black side is going to be less than. And it took people being willing to challenge that orthodoxy, and sometimes in a very ill-informed way, right? Sometimes, it just took people coming up and going, I feel like this, and so I'm going to say it and make it right. And it turns out they actually were in some ways, right? Because now we can look at Egypt and say the ancient Egyptians are an African civilization. These are people that, by and large, we probably would have looked at and thought, oh, these are black people.
When it comes to the 25th dynasty, a lot of people are going to commonly call them the Black Pharaohs. You see it online, there's books written titled that, so on and so forth. Do you feel like that distinction has to be made? And how I ask that is, I've noticed online, a lot of people don't seem to think that for some reason you could be black and be Egyptian. And I've always kind of disagreed with that, because I feel like even though the ancients weren't colorblind per se, I feel that you could be black and be Egyptian. Would you say that is correct?
Yes, I think so. For instance, as I told you before, this kind of, for instance, of Nubian warriors that were settled in Egypt. At some time, they were living a perfectly Egyptian life, and they collaborated with the Egyptians and so on. I don't know if you have in mind, for instance, it's the representation of people carrying a Colossus statue. And there are rows of people, of young people, young soldiers, something like that. And you find Nubians, Egyptians, Libyans, and so on. There was this kind of idea that the local rulers rule, in fact, over say, multicultural society, probably in which the military component was quite important. Military contingents made Nubians of people from Asia, from Libya, and so on. So I think it was perfectly normal that these people, they were black, so they married Egyptians, or inversely, Nubian women, they married Egyptians, and so on. I think there is some evidence, for instance, in the documents of the New Kingdom, of this kind of, of marriage between people from different geographical or cultural or ethnical roots. And I think it was no problem at all. As I said before, they could reach very important positions in the kingdom. And for instance, in the late Bronze Age, it was quite normal that very high, Nubians, a very high local position, they built wonderful and excellent tombs in Egyptian style. They reached important positions in the Egyptian administration, so on. So why not, when black people or people from Nubia, they became far out, well, they continue to represent themselves, sometimes with their very distinctive physical characteristics, and so on. It was, I think, no problem at all.
I've worked in prisons now for 18 years. That was my first time I'd been in a prison. And the teacher who picked me up at the stations, she said, well, you are looking at this as Africa. And I was like, well, yeah, of course I am. Mm-hmm. And she said, well, because she said, that's how they, my students see it. And I said, well, how else would they see it? And I remember her looking slightly confused, and then the first sort of interaction I had with one of her students was he came in the room and he said, ancient Egypt is African. I went, yeah, of course. And I think he thought I hadn't heard him properly. And he said, I said it was like African, as in black African. And I'm like, yeah, and what's your point? And I think it was only really that after that experience that I thought, am I in some kind of bubble here or something? And so I started to actually look into the sort of background, really, the sort of, which we're starting to talk about a little bit more in terms of colonial approaches, but still not directly the racism that Egyptology is founded upon. And at that point, it was almost like a sort of light bulb moment. I thought, well, why is this still the case when we, are we still stuck, 100 years sort of previously in this kind of racist ideology? Why is nobody challenging this? Because other disciplines had. So anthropology had looked very hard at itself in terms of looking at its colonial kind of past. It just seemed that Egyptology was kind of almost stuck there, and it didn't really want to talk about it. So for me, it always was African. It was a bit of a shock to me when I actually started looking a bit deeper into this, and then started having conversations with people and seeing how they responded to that.
I think that the further back in history you go, the blacker the Egyptians are. And by black, I don't merely mean dark skin, but also with other Negro characteristics.
You have spent much of your life studying the history of the ancient Egyptians. Who were the ancient Egyptians? How did they look?
Voilà, les Égyptiens anciens ressemblaient à cette terre que vous voyez. Voici le premier roi de la terre.
Here you have the first king of the earth, the very first. And the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, looked like this man.
Cet homme a des traits, si vous voulez, plus, comme nous disons, vous m'aviez dit tout à l'heure de ne pas employer un terme, mais sur le plan scientifique, c'est un terme consacré. En tout cas, il a des traits de la race noire plus marqués que celles de presque tous ceux qui sont ici dans cette salle.
You can see that he has those traits that are associated with the black those features associated with the black race, which are even more pronounced than many of the people here. It was this man who unified the Nile Valley from Upper to Lower Egypt, and this was 3,300 years before Jesus Christ.
Yes. Je passe donc, ce que je vais dire avant de passer au suivant, c'est que vous allez le voir donc déjà d'après ces traits et les traits aussi des pharaons qui vont suivre.
You can see by his features and those of the pharaohs and kings that will follow it
que les anciens Égyptiens n'étaient pas des blancs qui seraient devenus progressivement noirs et en perdant leurs traits.
You can see that they were not a people that started as whites and became progressively more black.
Mais qu'au départ, c'était des noirs authentiques qui, à la basse époque, vont se métisser avec des blancs.
They were instead a black people, an authentic black people, but which never ceased to be blacks.
Donc, attendez, je dis en un mot. Donc, vous voyez que les anciens Égyptiens étaient des noirs comme tous les autres naturels de l'Afrique, c'est tout.
You can see that the first the Egyptians were black men, like black men that you see in Africa now.
Oh, well, I don't even know how nobody could be arguing after that. How could you even be, like, on your hype after that? What's up, Neil? Mr. Rich in the building, that good guy. Mark White. Proof Evidence. Tony, what's up? Chambers, Logic. Yurik in the building. Christoph. RTP, where the rest of y'all at, man? Put up a comment, say something, like the video. Let's look at this, man. I mean, this ain't what I wanted to do, but let me get my stuff together. We've been, ever since day one, we'll go back to day one. For the people who don't understand this, is because when we say black people, people can't help but think about race after that. It's all kind of different, if you want to say, it's all kind of different races of black people. If you want to say that, whatever a race is. I don't even know what the hell a race is. It's not really real. But when you start talking that pseudo race science, you mess up the whole argument. So what people do? They inject race science to act like that's what we talking about, when every time in every presentation I ever gave y'all, we know that this phenomenon happened by way of physical description, them just simply describing things and then describing themselves and others. And they had a term for the blackest hue. They had a term for the darkest hue. It didn't just relate to people. When go to any language, they got names for colors. And when they want to discuss the darkest hue in Egypt, ancient Egypt, if that's what you want to call it, they said Kim. More accurately, this would be Tawi. Because they didn't have the name Kemet. They definitely didn't have no name Egypt. They didn't have no name Beck. They didn't have none of the names that others or anyone called them at the times when they simply were describing a hue, which was the darkest hue, and that was described as Kim. Kim. We got a K and an M We think these are the consonants that are represented by the by the biliteral glyph I6. That's not what's up on my other monitor, by the way. What's on my other monitor is this. Let me share it. This. The start of everything. This simple glyph. When we see it used to describe animals, we have no problem. When we see it used to describe pottery, we have no problem. We see it to describe, being used to describe the blackness under one's fingernails. What's up, Shazmoo? Pan-African James in the building. Vernon in the building. ATL boy, Sankofa. Thanks for putting up a chat. And the rest of y'all, put something up in the chat. Help the video. Let's see if we can find a troll that think they ready to get it in when we open up the chat. But this simple adjective can hold its place as a noun in the ancient Egyptian language, the same way our adjective green holds its place as a noun when you order greens. Let me get some greens. That phenomenon occurs when ancient Egyptians took Kim and started to use that adjective, which was the darkest hue, to describe nouns. Me and you could be Indian and Mexican. If we sit down to play chess, someone's going to say, go, you're black. I mean, you were white because white goes first. Go, you're white. Right? They just took the color white, used it as a noun, and then furthermore gave that to your entity to tell you just to move your white piece on the board. That's kind of like how ancient Egyptians used the term for a gardener, which was the term waj, which simply means green, but they kind of like calling him waj, calling him green, waj to you, one related to green things. And if you're in a natural environment, most normally green things are just, like just natural. Like, I don't know how to explain. Y'all know, y'all human. If you go camping, green things that you see simply came from the earth a lot of the times. I know other way to put it. So this concept of flourishing got attached to the term green. And then we could see, unlike Kemet and complete, which stand as two different terms used for two different ways, we can see an expansion of the semantic range of the term waj to say green, to say flourishing, and then one who is green, or waj to you, one related to that which is green, would be a gardener. Now you keep hearing us as we get further into detail say one who is that which is, and I adapted that as I learned more about ancient Egyptian grammar. So the question I asked Dr. Jonathan Winterman, and it was a very valid question, is when we say Kemet means that which is black, it's a simple question. What is that? Definitely not a grammar expert, but I like to look into it. What is being demonstrated by this demonstrative pronoun that? That which is black is what you're going to get from your most qualified scholars at this point on what Kemet means. Now, grammatically, there's an abstract being formed on this term Kim here. Some propose this. Everything I'm saying, I'll tell you when these are different propositions by scholars. And some propose this to be an abstract formation on the root term Kim, place a T after it, form an abstract rendering of Kim, which is Kemet, which would render that which is. Not those who are. And that's just the grammar. That and those and these, you feel me? They all hold different places. But when you say that, it indicates, it seems like that it's talking about a singular entity. So scholars, what did they do? We found out based on no primary source material that they did what? They looked straight into I don't want to say they looked into, they actually just went with the times. And like Dr. Jonathan Winterman put it, I think racism affected the outcome of how they defined the term Kemet in Egyptology. Because they couldn't come back telling y'all that this was the black land and that had anything to do with the people. So what they had to do? They had to come up with something else. And what they came up with, if you Google it, if you look at any dictionary, it'll be the first thing they tell you right after they tell you Kemet means black land. They're going to amend something on to the definition, and that's how you know the fix is in. Because ain't no other definition you ever looked at amended the reason why that's the definition to the end of the definition. Go look up what a car tire is. They're going to tell you what a tire is. Look up the word tire. It's not going to say it's a tire because you need wheels to put on a car. Look up any word in the whole wide world. Find a word in any dictionary. Dude, I've been baffled over this for hella long. Find a word in any dictionary that goes beyond defining the word and tell you why it's defined that way. They don't do that. The only word they do that with is Kemet. You can find another word. They probably use this tactic on other words. But amending it is because of the black fertile soil don't got nothing to do with the definition. What does Kemet mean? The black land. Okay, thank you. You just told me what it means. Why are you going further to limb to tell me it's because of the soil? So that raised my spidey senses. I was already like, oh, that's enough right there to let me say, this is a good research question. Let me change the screen. This is a good research question. Excuse me, I just got to do something. Not really so much, just clicking a button. But I don't be keeping track. That's a good research question. Why did they say that which is black in the definition of Kemet is the soil instead of the people? Now, guess what? Our research has unveiled. And you can use it in any arena that you want. First, I'll show you how to vet what I'm saying. If you got the time, vet it. If not, just roll them dice because we solid. Look how we on these YouTube streets. Can't nobody fuck with us. I'm talking about the biggest trolls, we're gonna get them. Because when you standing on information like that, there's nothing they can really do with it. There's nothing they can do with it. Hold on 1 second. Give me a second. I'm gonna play a video of Dr. Maggie Bryson giving her confirmations about how she just sympathized with those who are strident and argumentative about the blackness of the ancient Egyptians. Or is it the video where Dr. Maggie Bryson confirmed that ancient Egyptians called themselves black often, not infrequently? Not infrequently is how she put it. Let's see which one this is. I'll be right back.
I can sympathize with the impulse to sort of to be very strident, to be very argumentative, to be very certain, to act very certain about the blackness of the ancient Egyptians, because for the longest time, the very longest time, there was this prevailing idea that black is Africa and Africa is less than, right? That no matter what happens, no matter how you cast it, anytime you fall on the wrong side of that dividing line between black and not black, even not between black and white, whatever's coming from that black side is going to be less than. And it took people being willing to challenge that orthodoxy, and sometimes in a very ill-informed way, right? Sometimes, it just took people coming up and going, I feel like this, and so I'm going to say it and make it right. And it turns out they actually were in some ways, right?
Yeah, we actually were right about the blackness of the Egyptians. But it wasn't me I didn't see it in our past elders' work where they talked about the ancient Egyptians who called themselves black. We stood on their shoulders and we helped. We got some new technology and we were able to add to what they presented. Now, Sheikh Anta said, as a collective, the ancient Egyptians called themselves black. Kemet. But I didn't see the works. If y'all said I missed it, then I apologize. Show me the works where he was talking about the individuals that have been brought out later with this newer research and new technology who walked around Kemet and black was their name, just like you in the hood. You go to Oakland, both blacks is some of the biggest people from the town, right? I mean, I don't know where you from, but you got a black somebody. But since we speak English, we amend the black in the front, Black Rob, Black Sean. They'd just be like Peppy Black. And we got questions to talk about that. And so when we started letting the community know, no, they actually called themselves Black long before race, long before they even heard these other languages that came with, that made up this race stuff. They called themselves Black. They had a word for the blackest hue, and they called themselves that individually and collectively as we learn. Now let's see what she says about them calling themselves Black. Now, mind you, these square daddies, first of all, man, I gotta come on the screen. I don't be having to come all the way on the screen. When square daddies get at you crazy, they don't even be knowing. How you gonna send somebody my video with how your whole get down and then my scholarship on point, but they gonna look at you crazy. First thing they're gonna be thinking is that. Cause they grew up in this shit. How you gonna be, bro, I'm from hieroglyphics. Y'all be lightweight stupid. How could anybody be in the Egyptology and ever dabbled into hip hop culture ever and not know nothing about us? So now you like, oh shit, so you hit her with my video. She like, oh shit, he trying to bang on? I got so many confirmations of that I had to start showing y'all emails. Then it got so ugly, y'all tried to act like I was tacky showing the email. Because when I hit the scholars, the first thing they talk about is hip hop. That's how you play yourself. I ain't even trying to hit you talking about that. Yeah, but with that one song y'all did was crazy. Now you're gonna send her my video where I'm on point with the scholarship, don't even think about the music, but they know that shit anyway. And this is the type of reply video she sends your ass back when you try to get her to debunk someone who said ancient Egyptians called themselves Black. This what she gave y'all.
I can sympathize with.
No, that ain't what she got y'all.
The impulse.
She got y'all this one.
To sort of, as far as a name, an ancient Egyptian having a name, Kem, and it happened not infrequently that the ancient Egyptians would have either a name or a nickname. More commonly, I think, a nickname, Kem. So, like, there's a guy like Pepi Ankh. His name is Pepi Ankh, the pharaoh. May the pharaoh Pepi live. The name itself is a reference to the king, and may actually have not been his original name. It might be a name that he adopted as a priest of a dead king, or as a government functionary under a living king. But so he would have that name Pepi Ankh, and then at the end it's Kem, the Black.
So they would have that name. He would have that name Pepi Ankh, and at the end there's a Kem, the Black. Now, what's that noise? Damn. Oh, that's the copy machine. Now, you guys try it. I know Shesmu wasn't trying it, but other guys have tried their little black beards and their trying to, everybody who said the name Black wasn't Black. But we dealing with the first language. We ain't dealing with none of that yet. We back in the Medu Neter, or Rani Kemet, and that's another thing we're gonna talk about later. Remember, Rani Kemet was the language of the Egyptians. And if you do a literal translation of that, it really literally translates to mouth belonging to blacks. Mouth belonging to black. And so I didn't get that from myself. I got that from taking a Coptic class. If anyone, just do Google and fact check me and get your wig cracked. I'll do it for you. Damn. Kemet, the name of Coptic, I'm gonna say, what is the name of the Coptic language? The name of the Coptic language is also Ra-Ni Kemet. Let me just see if I can just show you on Wiki. See if they can help you with that. Here we go, right here. So you probably can't, we can't read Coptic. That's a Tiaspi. I think it say Tiaspi, Ra Ni Kemet. Tiaspi. Let's see. No, it don't say Tiaspi. It looked like it say time, but let's look. This is what I was looking at. If you know that this P is really a R, we got our rim for man or for mouth. All right, so here's the thing. They're telling you as you look at it, but I don't want to confuse Ra Ni Kemet with Rome Ni Kemet, right? But they still are, it's basically called the same exact thing that the ancient Egyptian language was called, right? And that's going to become significant because I'm going to pull up an attestation where they say, go and give the message to the black people. But people try to say I'm reading that text wrong, and they say it couldn't say give it to the black people. It say give it to the Egyptian speakers. But I told them a long time ago, you tripping. Egyptian speakers is what it could not say. Just give me a second. Hold on 1 second.
Refuting the claims of Dr. Camilla de Biasa Dyson.
Thank you. So I would say here, yeah, this is absolutely a legitimate word, and what we're seeing.
Hold on, this is when they went and got another scholar. I just need a quick break. They went and got another scholar. Since the last scholar told them off, they went and got another scholar, and look whose video she's looking at again. My video. Like they literally went out and tried to do a hit job to take down this information. And everybody watched them get murked in these YouTube streets looking real crazy. So check how this one went so bad. When we corresponded about me, she also was like, oh man, I love y'all music. Can you take that video down? I'm gonna tell Garfield to take his down. She asked me to take this down. Why? Because she got brakes put on her. But it's Scholastic and it's being played right now.
Refuting the claims of Dr. Camilla de Biasa Dyson.
But really, the AI kept saying her name wrong. That's one thing. And it was calling her Dr. Bias Dyson. And that wasn't on purpose. But it made it seem, it just worked because it seemed like she was being biased. Well, check this out.
Thank you. So I would say here, yeah, this is absolutely a legitimate word, and what we're seeing, this is referring, like pursuant to my comment earlier, that we have this word for a black land, or being the Nile Valley, so it's actually a place name. When you have then a people added to a place, and that doesn't just go for this case as with Kemet, it goes for all place names. It refers to the people belonging to that place. So you can change the classifier. You can have a classifier that shows you a place, and you replace it with a people classifier, and it tells you inhabitants of that place.
What Dr. Camilla de Biasa Dyson says about adding the people determinatives behind a place name is true, but Dr. Biasa Dyson is limiting the semantic range of the term Kemet to a place name in order to espouse her theory. As we will see in the primary text, the term Kemet did not enter the ancient Egyptian lexicon as a place name. Therefore, there is no need to limit its semantic range to a place name only to refute what is evident in the grammar. The first use of the term Kemet in the text corpus was in Unus Pyramid, PT 246, line 368. It reads, "For you are the black ram, son of the black sheep." It arrives as a feminine form of Kem, which only means black and never meant Egypt. In fact, the place name Kemet is not found in use until the 12th dynasty. But here, Bias Dyson argues Kemet can't mean black people because Kemet is a place name. The primary source to show Kemet was first used for black sheep is on the screen.
So this is absolutely a real word, and it is referring to Egyptians, people living in the Nile Valley, right? Because Kemet means Nile Valley.
Dr. Camilla DiBiase Dyson says Kemet means
We're
Nile
gonna
Valley.
go over it again in
Dr.
more.
Biase
Watch
Dyson,
this.
Bro, Ank, and Garfield, please provide a source for that. Which dictionary or text corpus says Kemet means Nile Valley? Does it mean Nile Valley or Black Silt? Does it not mean Black Land? Just Nile Valley? As we demonstrated with the Pyramid of Unas, Kemet was not only a place name, it was first used to say black, hundreds of years before it became a place name. Why doesn't Dr. Biase Dyson know this?
Right. So you're saying because it's a place name, then the meaning, then the instructions of the classifier changes, because now you're dealing with a place name, so that changes. So that's what that's what's being misunderstood. Okay.
Exactly. So I just feel like I said, the reason I interpret it this way, there are two reasons why I'm interpreting this as people living inside the Nile Valley. Firstly, we have other documented cases in which you have a place name and then you change the place classifier with a people classifier and it refers to inhabitants of that place. So we have precedent there that that's the case. And the second is, as I mentioned in our conversation earlier, we don't have any documentation that the Egyptians themselves differentiated peoples according to skin color. None whatsoever.
Here, Dr. Biase Dyson makes another erroneous assertion that we do not have evidence of ancient Egyptians differentiating people by skin color. None whatsoever. I thought scholars did not speak in absolutes. Notice that Smash is using nothing but the primary text of the ancient Egyptians to refute Dr. Biase Dyson. First of all, the ancient Egyptian term for skin color was yenem. Why would the ancient Egyptians have a term for skin color if they did not distinguish it? Well, if we spent more time analyzing these terms, we would know this term was used for exactly that, to distinguish skin color. On the 12th dynasty stele of Mentuhotep, we read, "People are of the same skin." The TLA translated yenem as skin, but as we see, the dictionary has an option of skin color. So this could read, "People are of the same skin color." In the great hymn to the sun, Kemetu praised the Aten for exactly what Dr. Biase Dyson says did not happen. She says Egyptians did not distinguish people by skin color. The primary text called the Great Hymn to the Sun contradicts Dr. Biase Dyson's assertion with irrefutable certainty. It's quite ironic that the text reads, "Their skin color is different because you differentiate the foreigners." Did you notice that ancient Egyptians used the term differentiate? The term was setcheni, to be distinguished. So she is wrong again. This claim has been falsified and there is really no comeback.
So the idea that this would represent people with black-coloured skin, like Kemet for the cattle refers to cattle with black-coloured hide, which is the analogy that he's drawing, I would just say it doesn't have precedent.
Here, Dr. Biase Dyson is only revealing the extent of her knowledge in Egyptology. There is so much precedence for using Kem and Kemet to describe males and females with black skin that I apologize to my audience, for this will get a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, you don't have to even
We
see
must
this. Y'all already know how that went. It wasn't cool. It just wasn't cool. I don't even want to do it like that. So go back to this, right? This is simply an adjective, but check it out. We could call it two ways the way they wrote this first attestation that I'm showing y'all. This is what we started with. If you go to my original video, 30,000 views later, it got about 28,000 views. It's called Ancient Egyptians Calling Themselves Black or something. This is what we started with. But we was tripping off how they have a color in front, what appears to be in front of each one of these cattle, or what have we. So we know these colors. And so we know how to read this as the black cattle, or what have you, the red cow, the shining or the silver or the white cow. And don't trip off the color left over thousands of years. And the speckled cattle. Now, we don't have no problem with it when they put it next to cattle. We don't think that this is the job position of the cattle, nor do we say that it's a toponym. This is the area where the cattle roams. This is all the stuff people do when they put this glyph for black around people. But we're clear that this is the black cattle. When you put this next to a man, oh, you won't be clear anymore. It won't be the black people. That type of nonsense, we just can't respect that. So we went over the breakdown of this, and anybody new to this channel, it's simple. You'd see this I6 glyph, right? You notice it's turned to different direction because it could go either direction. This represents the K and M consonants. That's why they call it a biliteral, because it represents two consonants. This is a phonetic complement because when you have a biliteral, sometimes ancient Egyptians wrote out the second consonant. So when you see Kim, this isn't Kimim, this is Kim. And this is what we call a determinative, which helps us to determine the what? The class category of the word. So here, this determinative is letting us know they want us to focus on color, right? And the color is black. So just like Dr. Maggie Bryson told us, there were plenty of people that you could see who amended Kim onto the end of their names. And if you go back to the 1974 Cairo Symposium, it will be Serge Sonoran when intervening in the argument or the discourse between Sheikh and Diop and Abdullah, right? Yeah. When intervening in that discourse, he said if ancient Egyptians wanted to call themselves black, they would say Kemet or Kemenu, or Kemu, excuse me. Kemu. Kemu, like you see on the screen. What you see on the screen is an attestation from Herman Ranke's work, The Persons and Names of the Middle Kingdom, where he took all of the sources they had on the Middle Kingdom and compiled an exhaustive work, classifying and categorizing the names, titles, toponyms, and all of that of the ancient Egyptians. And what did he say right here? That this person's name was Kemu. Now notice this. He does not, on this one, he doesn't say this is a physical description of the person. Right? But we can read Medu Neter a little bit, and it's kind of crazy because this isn't an adjective amended onto his name. This is his name. Kemu. Now we all know the root here, Kim, but they did something weird in this one instance that I wanted to pull out. Was in writing his name, they put the determinative after the root in his name. They didn't need to do that. And what does that do? What does putting the determinative there do? It tells you to focus on color. Now, if you read ancient Egyptian and you started to read ancient Egyptian, you probably perplexed looking at this, and you probably want to know why why the scholar Herman Ranke transliterated it this way. KMW. When you see KMMW, that's what you think you see. But all of the other ways that he wrote his name let us know, particularly right here, Kimu. Let us know exactly what's going on. It's not two M's. This is just Kim. And this is the Uchik. Now we got it written in what some could call like a rebus. Kimu. But nevertheless, it's not Herman Ranke who tells us that this is an ode to how he looks. It's this right here, which tells us to focus on the color. Right? To focus on now, what would Kimu do? See, Kimu does the same thing that adding an abstract T onto a Kim root, it will give you that which is black if it's an abstract T. But if you add a Uchik, it does the same thing to an adjective, but it's now like a basically, well, I don't want to say, all right, so it basically changes the word class of it, and it makes it, no, not that which is, that's the T. Yeah, it makes it one who is. So basically the entity becomes implied in the word. So if the word is black and they put the U at the end, then it is one who is black. All right? Not blacks, like the plural U. That's what you learn in the intermediate meta-nature classes or the beginner classes. When you start to keep on studying, they're going to teach you about the different uses of, and it is in an intermediate class you'll learn this, the different uses of that suffix uchik that we see here, what I'm calling it. So when it comes to the name, one of the names of ancient Egypt, people like to reference this one, Kemet. And the question is, what does this mean? Now we have, when scholars tell us, right, and we already knew, every dictionary you look at, they put the land in parentheses. So they're really just saying it means the black. The black, they say that which is black. But how do we get that it represents the people from this? Well, I get it in many ways. But one thing is hard to say, and we've discussed this over and over with plenty scholars, and Jonathan Winterman said I was 100% correct in saying there's nothing in this word to make us say land. Remember that when they define this, they're going to say it's the black land. And they'll try to say it's this glyph that means land. When I asked for another word that uses this determinative and then scholars translate it as land, we came up short in finding one. The word that the scholar submitted to me had the word land in it. It was ta shimu. Whenever you say ta, you're saying land. So then, if you trying to tell me this mean land, but it got the word ta in it, no. It still mean the same thing. A settlement, a town, or a city. And why is that key? and I even did research on this, and it gets really, it goes deeper. Because the X in the middle of this, by my own research and by other scholars have said this, but I can expound on it. It seems to indicate a crossroads, like most people say, right? But it's a crossroads of where people tend to congregate. And that's key in understanding this. No people, no X marks the spot. You could go through, and now, furthermore, no people under who rock like we rock, no X marks the spot. Like if the people rock some other way, they could be there, but they not getting this. And people tried to act like this determinative will only go for things inside the official of kingdom, of Kemet. Ain't necessarily true. We find it outside, used in various places, just to say people congregate here. So a word, and I also talked to various scholars about this. It was Yosef Ben Levi who said black community. And when I look at this definition, is one of the best, to me, definitions of this term, black community. Because we still see that which is black, but now we see they're talking about a place where people congregate. Now, how would that work? How would that turn out like that? Well, look into the work of Dr. Mario Beatty. Dr. Mario Beatty points out how the incursion and the encroachment of these people called, the ancient Egyptians called Asiatic sand dwellers, about the 12th dynasty, it became just a little bit too much. I mean, even before that, right? And they wanted to get them up out of there. And so he said it emerged as a geopolitical term, right? A socio-geopolitical term to indicate, no, this us and that's them. Kemet is us. This is the land of the blacks. But that's Dr. Mario Beatty work, right? We don't have to look at the collective term. We can go back to instances of individuals amending the Kim glyph on the end of their name to call themselves a black individual. See? Happy Kim. Just like she just told y'all about Peppy Kim. This is Happy Kim. All right? And so I don't really understand what the argument was, and I'm going further to length to say, and we're going to look at some attestations in a minute and do the real fun part. I'm going further to length to say I could stand on the shoulders of Dr. Yosef Ben Levi, Sheikh and the Joke, and the others that said that this represented black people in a black community. Now, we have detractors who've been saying that's been wrong for the longest of time. And I just was watching a video by the Seshu called The Conscious Community Failed You, where he was just addressing this. And so we're going to listen to some of these clips.
Primaries, or we reference the primaries where you can go find and see it, where it's an irrigation channel.
See?
And so
why did I make that a clip? Make that a clip? Because he said he referenced the primaries where we could go see Kemet is an irrigation channel. But he just was talking too quick. Let's listen.
Right there are called riparian countries. In case you did not know, we did a whole video on that, showing and proving all of that stuff. But I talk about determinatives. I talk about toponymic determinatives. I talk about determinatives first, then I talk about toponymic determinatives, which are important because I'm showing examples of what's called determinatives or classifiers. And these are the ones that are used for toponyms. So I give the Gardner Code.
So what he often does is limit the semantic range of things just to get off his point. And I ain't gonna take time to demonstrate about how all of these, every one of these, are used for names that aren't toponymic. The majority of them. I've done this before, like
glyph itself and the description. A lot of people are familiar with 049. This looks like an X-Men belt buckle. People are less familiar with this irrigation channel in 23. And what a lot of people don't know is that Kemet is spelled with this irrigation channel as well. And, you know, show the primaries, or we reference the primaries where you can go find and see it, where it's irrigation channel.
they show the primaries or they reference the primaries where you could go to see it. But remember what's the name said it was on page 62? Where you at, Sot 12? He said it was on page 62 of the book and never brought back the book. But right here, Ujahu say they reference the primaries where you could go see it.
And so on. Then I give examples of Egyptian toponyms.
No, I ain't gonna just let him go off the subject. We're gonna stay on the subject of what we're talking about. Like right here. So we're gonna chirp off this.
Which is the hymn to Senwosret the third. And maybe some of y'all in the chat are familiar with that, but I've seen a clip of that in the video.
So I'm gonna go to like 503.
And it is really the fault of people not knowing enough to know that they're wrong. They don't know enough to know that they're wrong. I'm gonna help y'all out with something that I saw, right? Recently, I've seen on one video clip, people pulled up the Calhoun Papyrus, which is the hymn to Senwosret the third. And maybe some of y'all in the chat are familiar with that, but I've seen a clip of that in the video. I don't know whose channel I was watching, but I'm going to give you a little breadcrumbs nuggets for that, right? What you should do if you want to, if that comes up and you bring that up, is the hymn to the man and the woman and then the three strokes. Okay, so it's in three places in that. It's in two places and a possible third place in that papyrus. All right. The third place, it's not for certain that it's there because it's damage to the papyrus. All right. So maybe me saying all that, y'all will be familiar. But I seen the clip somewhere. Now, when it ever comes up again, what you all should do is read the entire hymn. Because by reading the entire hymn, if anybody understands context, literary context, and how to read for comprehension and read, the context of the actual hymn and what the hymn is for, you will understand that it could never mean black people. Ever.
Let's stop. Let's see if that's true. That ain't true. And we've seen it many times, but since it's on the we on the subject, let's see is that true. It could never mean black people. You see who been out here doing this work, y'all? So I'm gonna find the exact thing we talking about. Another thing is that people love to say that it only occurs 3 times. Right? Here you go. I just bow right on your face. Come on, man. We got this work. We don't just be talking. And y'all want to tell us what's wrong with this? I know a few of y'all can. The rest of y'all ran. And the ones who know what's up, y'all my mans. Y'all knew that was coming, bro. Stop playing. Hey, now look. He's like, if you read this whole thing, which I probably could right now still after not even studying. This is Itian F. So he has come, right? He has come. Now we got a double N, and we got. All right, so he has come by, let me see. Let me erase that. What did he come? Oh, to seize. Because this is something about them or us. I forgot. But then he's seizing something. He seized. So he has come, like, it ain't really to us, but he has come, it seems like by us. Or he has, whatever. Now, seize, this gotta be about seizing, because you got the man with the stick, right? Or whatever. And this is his pronoun for him, again. See that F is on, all right, I'm gonna show you on the first one too. That F and that F is the pronoun for he has done this. So he seized. Now what did he seize? You can see it right here. This is the land, right? Now look, this is what Ujahu was just saying, that this determinative right here is toponymic. Meaning that when we see this ta right here, and then it has a determinative under it, this is the whole word in its determinatives. So it's like he sees the land, but what is this? So this looks like you see this? This is a different way to say Shema. It seems like he's saying sees the land of Shema, because they put the Sapat lines right here. So Shema, right? Why am I saying Shema? And why is it a jar after that? And then an M. I'm going to fall off after this jar and this M. But I can keep going. But yeah, and we can pull up the definition. Well, what I want to point out is when we get to down here. So he came and he seized the land or something, and then I fell off at the milk jar. Somebody could read that. And he gonna do like, he gonna protect. I don't think he protecting the double crown. But you know how that's go. I'm off now. So I would need to get back to it. Upon his head. Oh no, he did put the double crown upon his head. Look, upon his head. See, remember this is the pronoun for his. There goes his head. And this is by. So here go the crown. So he's protecting. I got this word being protecting, but y'all can say it's something better. I got the dictionary right. I should just open the dictionary. Oh, why dictionary? So I can stop tripping. What I got this word as? Protect. I got to do the English, y'all, because right now I haven't been studying. Protect. I think that's a word for protect, and you're going to see it pop up. But y'all who read the glyphs could be helping me out in the chat. There's a lot of skilled brothers in the chat. It's going to be that word for protect, though. Hold on now. There we go. Oh, no, look, see? I kind of got it. See, I was thinking that, so if protect got the 3 spikes on the top, I'm probably going to find another protect with, that means to greet or something? If I probably find I thought it was this nedge word, what we're looking at here. Well, no, this got a Shechem. Oh, this is a Shechem. Okay. So this is Sheketi. Oh, this is the name of the crown. See, what's the matter with y'all? Y'all ain't reading? God, this is the Shekemti. Let me show you what this is. The double crown is called the Shekemti. I can show you better with Google. D-O-U-B crown. of Egypt. That word with Shekemti was on his head. So this is percent. That comes from the Greek or the Coptic. We don't call it the percent. But I know what you mean if you call it a percent. But see, the percent is the double crown. If you really want to go in on the name, they're going to call it the Shekemti. Why? Let me show you. You got to go look, bruh. T on it is, as a suffix, it means dual or double. Two of them. So, pa, shekem, t. Right? And that is these two crowns. So when we come back to the text, I did read it right. So I don't know what this jar was about. And the M, I can figure it out because I know this is the determinative. This probably says, what would this jar be? I don't know. I would wait and talk to somebody else about that. But this is definitely the two crown upon his head. And so now this next word means to unite. Excuse me. I hope y'all don't think I practiced this and got this whole skit. We freshen it up. When you watch this show, this is how we do it all live. We can make our mistakes live, correct ourselves live, but this is the only way you're going to be able to walk into a museum and get busy. You feel me? So I got to just look at it and not use the dictionary and then go to the dictionary when we coming back. But you know this word already, right? This word is, they're going to call it zama. Zama. It means to unite. When I put it in the dictionary, I'm just going to put unite for y'all. Or I'll put ZMA with a capital A and see if that pop up. It didn't, so I put SMA. Dang, they didn't want it to pop up with that either. But it's 96 of them. It means to unite. So it's not this sama, which means to kill. Remember, you're going to see a knife if it's that sama, to kill. There we go, unite. Now, see, you don't have to see all this. I only seen this, knew what the word was. Even though that's not necessarily the determinative for this word they're using. I'm cutting in and out. What the hell doing that for? Hold on. I don't know why that would be. Maybe I'm hella loud or something. Let me see. What could that be? All right, he said his stream acting up. Shazmu say, nah, it sound good. Maybe I was cutting in and out a minute ago, but maybe it's back. I appreciate you for letting me know. We don't want to have no boosty-ass audio. Is we back? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you okay, he said I sound perfect. Thank you, guys. So y'all see right here, we learned that this word does mean to unite, to join, or to associate, but it don't gotta be written all the way out, because when we look at the text, we found the word, and this is why they call, now this is what you're gonna understand. It appears then sama is a what? A triliteral. Why? Because I got an S, a M, and an A. But when the ancient Egyptians wrote it, which consonant did they use as the phonetic complement? The A, right? So therefore, I know that this is the word, and this lets me know that the word ended right here, because they put a papyrus roll, which lets me know that this concept is an intangible concept. So unity, you really can't touch unity, can you? All of these, like love, you can't really touch love. You think you can when they materialize it, right? With these intangible concepts and things of the such, ancient Egyptians used a papyrus roll to indicate that the word was somewhat of an intangible concept, for lack of better descriptions, right? So this is unity. So unite, but now we gotta look at the grammar of it. Let me erase all this. Because we don't just got a unity, it's not unite. This is an action being taken. How do you say a verb? Unity as a verb. You have to say unity as a verb here. Well, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. Take that completely back. This is Sejm NF form. The reason why I said you had to say it as a verb is because I was messing up looking at the grammar form. So this is to unite, right? But this end of this end in this tense, when you see this form with an F after the end and then a noun in front of it, that is called Sejm NF form, and that means every time you see this NF form like this, try to catch me slipping. It's going to mean, look, here got one right here. Started with it, right? Itty, or is this itty or EE? Either EENF or itty NF. He has come. So right here we got a Shema NF. He has seized. Shema, man, this shit ain't as hard as, I mean, I don't want to just belittle it, but if you inspired and anything I'm doing, keep going and you're going to really get that popping eventually. It's been 20 years for me, but what else do live do but keep going? And you need some projects that last longer than 3 weeks and shit. Like all your projects can't be like, I'm going to do this for a year. Something you got to do for 10 years. Anyway, he has united. So this is a whole Sejm NF phrase right here. Now that you know he has united, you can clearly see, if you remember what this meant up here, this meant the land, right? But it's one of them. You see it reappearing. So now you understand he united, and you see two determinatives. So he united, what you gonna say? He united the two lands. You feel me? So it's really like this. He has united two lands, ain't no the, but you can put the. The two lands, now what? Okay, let me figure this out before I fall off. Which one of y'all want to call this word out before I read it off my head? Because I'm falling. The reason why I'm falling is I can see what looks like an amp with a line on top of it. And I'm not necessarily remembering this symbol. Jay Miller called this out so fast if he was present. Like, bro, you slipping. That's doop, doop, doop. But how many of y'all want to call that out? Do I need to make it bigger? I can make it bigger, cuz don't be acting like it's too little. Before it got a B after it and what appears to be a Ra. Ra in F, right? So I think this, if it has a B, I don't know no word that start like that with a B on it. Who know what this word is? Oh, I'm tripping. That's Abu. Y'all didn't even know? Ain't that Abu? See, that's Ab. So this gotta be Abu, but it ain't no U on here. Abu Ra? That don't make no sense. Abu Ra NF? Tawi? He said Tawi? No, this is Tawi up here. Tawi is right here, two lands. But this right here is what? Sa'ant. Nah, B. That ain't no Ankh. It got a line on the top. Nah, that ain't Sa'ant. All right, I'm messing that up. And any of y'all can help in the chat, but I ain't even really tripping because I'm doing good so far. Once I remember what this is, it got a B after it, right? So what word is this? I mean, I can't think. Somebody know. Yeah, somebody know. Come on, man. Y'all be studying. Now, if you don't know how to look it up, let me show you. You can use Wiki to look it up. Look. GARDINER, sign list. And then I'm going to refresh myself. Now, you're going to go look under staffs and symbols, because that's what that appeared to be. If you didn't know it was a staff or a symbol, you're gonna encounter it like this anyway. And staffs and symbols is probably gonna pop up where? Here they are. This is it. No, this trees and plants. Sky and earth. No, the staffs and symbols, homie. Let me see. All right, it's gonna pop up. What is this? Building parts of buildings. That ain't it. Ships, parts of ships. I'm gonna find it before any of y'all. Solomon, we was looking for a glyph. Can you find it? It is. Oh, all right, here it comes. It's around here. Man, that thing look like an ankh with a line on top. And this look limited. Oh, it's about to be inside of warfare and huntery. All right, well, if you can't find it like this is more exhaustive. Uh-oh, it's coming up, bro. It might have been one of these. He was probably trying to draw U23. Let's keep looking. It clearly looked like an ankh with a straight line on top, bro. All right, I'm about to skip that word and come back to it once y'all find it, because I don't want to slow down the show. Yeah, I don't want to just search for one word for hella long. The word that I should know. Somebody gonna help and pop in with perfect timing. Because that's not even where we at. All right. Now, whatever this was saying up here, all I see after that is what looks like a Nisu bidding. But is it? So tell me what y'all see. Now y'all can find it. I don't feel like doing that for hella long. Oh, I can show you the other way if you're saying if you wanted to find it. You just gotta open up the Gardner book or open up JSS, and then you can search by. You can search a different way. You can search by the height of the. Where's my JSS? You can search by the height of the glyphs,
and it doesn't.
Or search by the profile of the glyphs. So let me see if I can find my JSS, man. See if I can find my JSS, man. Doo-doo-doo, boo-doo, bip, put it on this screen. This is too big. This ain't working. All right, what happens is I gotta start it on this screen. Because if I just do that, it mess up like that. Now I gotta go to, hold on, man. Damn. Where that shit go? I can't even close it, so Jay says Boosie like that. Hold on. I don't want to be messing y'all up like he fumbling and bumbling. It's Jay says. It act like it ain't even running. That make me hella mad. Let me try it again. Yeah, but when I minimalize it and bring it to the other screen, it's gonna start, the data, it messes up. Watch this. So like I said, I'm gonna forget about that part. All right, it tried to work. Nah, I still ain't forgetting about that because it's changing the show. So if I could just get this window closed, I could do that later because we was reading the text. Right? And we never got to no place close to Kemet. And that was like, if you read that text, you would know there's no way you could be talking about Kemet. So I just got to what appears to be a knee suit, right? Are the suits in? No, knee suits. It's just written crazy. And then I can make it bigger. Y'all don't think that's a knee suit? Y'all tripping. And then the biddy. Here go the biddy. And you see people start cutting when you're reading too much meta. So this is just addressing the king of ancient Egypt or what have we. Right? Or what have we. So next we say, he has ruled. And then this is the part where he tried to say, if you read the whole text, you'll know there's no way that it could be talking about people. Even though when you read the text, they put people. Like this is the deceiver shit it appears people be doing. So are you telling me there's no way that you could think this is not no way? Because there's people right here. Oh yeah, but because you find that one instance. Oh yeah, but because you find that one instance of Kemet with the people, did you read the rest of the text? There's no way you could be talking about people. It clearly says, now this is another Sejm NF form, right here. So y'all know what it say. If I tell you what the first word say, this word is to rule. Rulership is another intangible concept. To rule. You can't touch your rule or your reign. Right? Now it says, he has ruled black. And what do you see right after that? But they say, no, that don't say black people, that say Egypt. But the funny part about that is there are not too many other instances of this rendition for them to say, look, cause see over here, it's black people. So when I talk to the good scholar, Dr. Camilla DiBiase Tyson about this, she gave me some sources of other words that when they put people there, those words aren't the people of that noun in front of it or whatever. They're the people, inhabitants of, like they say, the inhabitants of something. But I'm just saying, you can't say to people, there's no way. Now you're just being crazy and acting like you're a super scholar. I'm not saying that this is definitive. I'm saying you trying to tell me you read this and told people to read the whole text, which I just did, but I fumbled on one word or two, right? What part about reading this text was they supposed to think? He has come and seized the land, right? He, Shema'u, or whatever it looks like, Shema, and I don't see nothing. I don't know this next word, right? And then we thought this was to protect. Nope, he put the two crowns on his head, right? He has united the two lands. Like, what part about this is gonna make me think he ain't talking about black people? And we got this Nisu Biddy, and then right here we get to, he has ruled Kemet. But Kemet has people behind it. So they want you to say he has ruled the people of Egypt. But another instance in this, in another papyri that I'll pull up right now, where we also see Kemet written with people, people tried to pass it off, and that's why I was talking about the name of the Coptic language earlier. Peace to Brother Flag, good seeing you around. The reason why I was talking about the name of the Coptic language earlier So we can keep reading. He has ruled black, and then what do you see after that? Golly, it make me sick. That ain't how you read that? Well, he has ruled Kemet. And this is the classifier for what he's talking about. This is not a TU. Those who try to argue that this is a TU and that it represents inhabitants of are inconsistent. Because they see a man and a woman behind the word rematch, and they don't say that's rematch to you. I need to order me some food. I ain't ordered nothing. I'll do that in a minute. But rematch to, they don't say it's rematch to you. So he has ruled Kemet, which is these people, and then another Sejm NF form right after that. Sejm, when I say Sejm, it means to hear. Sejm NF, now I'm really rocking on it, is a verb form, right? So he has ruled, he has united, he has everything else. Okay, that's what he has come. They're all in the Sejm NF form. And now he has given. I don't know what this is. Is that a hand? Is that supposed to be a D hand? Oh, Jeshurette. Yeah, this is Jeshurette. Look, if you read the whole word. He has given Jeshurette. Now, that's why they say, oh, no, see, look. It got red right here in Juka position to black right here. So you can't say that he talked about people, he's talking about land. But on this one, he put people, right? And on this one, he literally put a hillside. So I can argue that. But the thing is, when we look at some of the work of some of the Greeks who tried to explain this, and this is just because you fall short looking for an ancient Egyptian explanation. Their explanation of what they seem to observe works perfectly. Black being associated with that which had life-giving properties and other things, and red, I could forget the other things, and red being associated with that which is fiery, arid, and dry. But what did he do with the black and the red? He put them, as they say, Abu or Ab-F. And this is a determinative, and this is a determinative. So either this, it's just a horn to let you know that that's what they're talking about in this word. So his horns, he put them on his horns. What does that mean? Well, if we know the reference of a king being the bull of bulls, it would make more sense to us. As he was just taking one land, putting it on the left horn, the black, or they say the black people or the black land, and then he took the one land and put it on his other horns. However you want to talk about it, but I'm just saying that saying there's no way it could mean people is rather going too far. It's clearly a way it could mean people. But you see another one down here if we continue reading it, and we could continue reading it, or we could go on to another instance. If any of y'all are being really observant here, you don't have to know Medu Netter to see that this starts with another Sejm in F form. And this one is a very good one. And I did a really good research on this one because it's very popular. And I'm gonna do a little bit of it in front your face. Show you how we really do this shit so that you can argue definitively and just tell people like, I don't need to really listen to what you're talking about because I know for certain you on some crap, you on some BS. Let me show you. The person in the last video just said, if you read the whole text, you know definitively there's no way that this could be talking about black people. Now, if we continue on, I don't want to skip over stuff. So this is just a word like behold. The word is mek. Some could say mak. It just means behold, but they make you think these black Africans talk like white people, and that's the King's English. It was more like, check this out. I'm trying to tell you. It's like peep game though. Like when somebody say peep game, but it might be a little bit more than peep game because there's no expression on when I say peep game though. I'm trying to draw your attention to something that I'm about to reference in following that statement. And the same thing Europeans, behold, and then they're gonna have either a statement or something that you should behold after that. That's not necessarily how we got it in. So I don't want to say mek is appropriate to say behold. And another way European Egyptologists translate it as look. And that's more accurate to what I'm saying. They be like, look. Because look is always like, check this out. Or unless you want somebody to physically look at something, if you talking, you say, look, you saying something like, check this out. All right, now different people telling me I'm cutting in and out, and I don't know if it's at a point in the video that they're at or not. So give me a thumbs up if the audio cool, if y'all could, please, because I just looked over. I appreciate you, James. All right. Now let me see. I gotta see these. I could barely even do this without my glasses nowadays. Because how people sit on YouTube with these bright ass lights, bruh, shining directly in your face all day. I know you think I'm trying to look cool because I look cool, but I actually got to block out my eyes. But anyway, we're gonna keep it popping. Thanks for putting the thumbs up. Now, the research behind this Sejm NF form gave me, I don't have to leave. Look, y'all, I'm gonna slow down. Look, be very observant and look at the screen. Okay? Be very, very observant if you feel like it and look at the screen. Now notice here, I only, forget the green that you see on the screen. Trip off the blue. The first word on the top line I was just explaining to you is like check this out, like yo, right? Behold. I skipped to the second line, and if you go to the blue, we can see the term of scrutiny, Kemet. But before that, I was just talking about a verb form, which is underlined in yellow. It's a Sejm in F form. Sejm is just an ancient Egyptian word that means to hear. Damn. I think if I'm cutting in and out to some people, and some people say they hear me good, maybe y'all need to just start it over. I mean, maybe something happened that you might need to start over. But I would hate that this type of a show is cutting in and out for anyone. I apologize if it's anything that I've done on my side, right? But so here we go. Thank you, Solomon. You put it on the screen. The Sejm NF form, if you were being very observant, and I could change the screen to make it even bigger for people, it repeats itself in the next line. And I want you to notice something, because these texts, it is most likely that this wasn't written by 5 different people like the Bible. I mean, the Bible was probably written by 1,000 people, however many, 61 scholars, they say, whatever they say, forget it. But this text most quite possibly was written by, at least these 2 sentences, was possibly written by the same grammarian, ancient Egyptian scribe, right? So why I asked you to be very observant is because you see Sank NF Kemet. But if you go down to the next line, you see Sank NF Pot. Both of them have people. Let me use my mouse. Sorry. This is the people behind the word pot. This is the word pot. It is a class of person. At one point in time, these are dignitaries. Others can say they're just patrons or regular people. Can I ask anyone, even Ujahu, did he translate this Pati-u? And I know how deceptive he is. Yeah, I did. I can tell you they didn't translate this Pati-u, but when they seen these people here, they knew that these people indicate the class of this term. That this term is talking about people. But one sentence above, they would like you to believe that the same artisan who wrote in very similar grammar could not have been talking about people in this instance. Why? Because of what the rules of Egyptology tell you. Well, if he's talking about people in this instance, then it clearly says black people. Well, what does this one say? Pot. Pot are a class of people. Pot are dignitaries. Let me put it right in a dictionary for you right now. P-A-T. Pot about to be dignitaries, bro. Stop playing. But how many times you been watching my show? I make mistakes, right? But when I'm like on it like that, it's right. It's going to be patrons or a class of people, right? Mankind. So this is one pot, but that's just, I told you it's used in 2 different ways. This pot is mankind. This is a different pot, Uri pot, a noble or an heir. Now this hoop pot is going to be what? Obviously the patrons of the mansion. See? Mansion patrons, because you know pot is a person, a patron, or a mansion. Patrons of mankind. So what are they talking about? How could it not be pot is mankind and they use this to show you the class of that word, and this mean Egypt? You can't make this shit up. But it was them who told you, oh, if you read it, because why they think you can't read it? Look at all the people on the same text that got a A1 and a B1, I think, and Z, oh, these 3 strokes, that's like Z2 or something. Look, what is this word? Is this not about people? Same classifier, same determinative. You know this word? Who wants to write this word in the chat? I was about to start a little bit too. Actually, I want to include, no, let me go over. Let me look at something. I know where I can start the word. I see it spelled in front of me, right? But I wanted to include that, and that was a mistake. The word is riketi. And there's the riketi bird to let us know that they're talking about another class of people. So in the same artisan writing in the same text, when he wrote it on this word, he wanted you to think about people. When he wrote it on this word, he wanted you to think about patrons, a certain type. Now I'm gonna tell you, this isn't patrons right here, because to him it appears that these are the patrons, Richetti, the common people. So that means the translation of dignitaries right here will work perfectly for pot. But you can just say patrons, cool. They're still people, but these ain't people. This is Egypt. He has ruled Egypt. When you read any translation, he has ruled. No, this isn't he has ruled. Let me go over. He has brought life to Egypt. Now, why did I say this Sank NF is a good one to scrutinize? Because you could beat the brakes off these clowns if you're a Magi archer. You got all the tools. We show you on my show all the tools to use. I give you the links, and I'm about to do it again live in your face. So if you're trying to get down and you can't pick up on this, just rewind again. I'm taking you to the text corpus. It's the Thesaurus Lingua Egypti. This is the newest updated text corpus. And what are we interested in? A particular term. Actually, we're looking for a phrase, so it might be different. I got it on demotic because my last research was in demotic. I'm going to come back to hieroglyphic. And I don't want Unicode, I want manual decodage. Why? Because it's probably easier to be able to learn the manual decodage than the Unicode. But if you don't know, none of them just come down to translation in English or whatever your native language is. Now, so the term we about to scrutinize, now what are we about to do? You could misuse the TLA and stop at the dictionary and be just looking at a dictionary. But we're looking for a term called sank. So it has an S at the beginning. There it go right here. Let's see if I found it like this first. I found it like that. So the manual decodage for it is lowercase a, lowercase everything. You put S-A-N-X. So let's talk about this term. What this term is the word ankh. We all know what ankh means. It means life, right? But you put a causative S on that word. You put the causative S on it in the front of it, and it means to cause. It's not no big shit, y'all. Don't be trying to act like because I said the causative S, now it's too complicated. Causative, it means it's going to cause whatever the verb is to happen. So if life is the verb or what have you, you want to use that as a noun, then living, however, it's going to cause that. Sank causes that. So when I click it, I'm looking at the dictionary now. And through this dictionary goes to the vertible by Adolf Armand and them. And what happens with this is we're looking for entries to see which one is the entry that this is how people mess up. Like you go to the wrong sank, and then you're looking at the wrong thing. That which enlivens the heart, that's sank abu. We simply want this first entry sank that has 429 entries. When we click that, we're now literally in the text corpus. Before that, we was just in the dictionary. And that's key too, because I've seen a lot of people stop on the last page and they get puzzled at the power of going through the text corpus. Now, let's make this clear for everyone who's following this, and I want us to pay real close attention to what's going on. A claim was made that these terms could not mean black people because of the way the text, where when they're talking about people, they put the same determinative or classifier like this. Now, what we're going to do is look at the use case. We're going to go over various ancient Egyptians, right? And this was my research question. And sometimes I get these questions from the net or root, like the elements, whatever. it'll pop in my brain and it be right. Because I'm not just dealing with Negro intuition. Now I got Negro intuition and hella sources. So that be everything. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. You can have Negro intuition and no sources, and you might could be right about 30% of shit. Maybe 40. But if you got them sources, and you got books, and you got knowledge, you got the elders and the ancestors you done stood on, bruh, your Negro intuition now is a jewel because it's gonna pop in your head and you know how to do it. You can say, I bet that shit wrong. And you now could go look, because now you know how to do it. So let me show you what mine did. Mine said, this is fishy. I ain't never, in all the texts I've ever seen them do anything but sank people. As a matter of fact, and I'm about to prove this with primary text, it's only one out of the 429 attestations in there that you're going to be able to say, well, they talking about the land right there. What I mean is, if you see this verb form, and we're going to go to the text corpus to prove it, every time after that is people. Every time in the text corpus, when you see sank, they're never talking about no ground or no land. It's only one that was given to me by a real astute researcher. His name Christopher Withers. And if I knew Chris could only give me one, then I got a good ass argument. Now let me show you this, right? Let me show you this. Let's prove this. So the term of scrutiny again in the text corpus is sank. In this instance, you see they say it says sank ne najes. Najes is a commoner. So we see sank ne. Sank ne is a sejm nf form that is just like sank nf. What's the difference? Instead of saying F, we're saying E because the pronoun is different. So this is I have provided. Remember on the text, we keep saying he has. Why? Because the pronoun in this sejm nf form is a F. So this is he has provided for, if you want to translate sank as that. How you gonna provide for the land? He provides for people. But since in the first use case of it in the old kingdom, first time they scribbled it on some rocks, it was to talk about poor people, to provide for poor. Let's look at the next attestation. For Mehu has recorded his order to provide, to sank, to enliven for them in his letter, which was brought to me. So he about to provide for them. Okay, let's look at the third use case. Warrior, Horus, who is above the Saheju part of the sky, who gives life to Ra daily, who sanks Ra. Now, I stopped here in my inquiry and I qualified my stance by understanding who Ra was to ancient Egyptians. Ra was an entity. Ra is not, they're not giving life to the sun. The sun gives life to us. So when they say warrior Horus, who is above part of the sky, who gives life to Ra, who enlivens Ra, Ra the entity just like Horus the entity. If not, tell me which celestial body Heru is. See? But nevertheless, this ain't the land either, and you couldn't stretch that to mean the such. Horus has given you life. In your name, who? This is an individual. All of these are entities or individuals, and it's never going to be the ground. You don't sa'ant the ground. It is his son, his beloved, Chewy, who did this to keep his name alive. He did it to sa'ant his name. Horus has joined you. He has not separated from you. He has enlivened you. You don't sa'ant the ground. This is why people need to get in the text corpus more, to get an understanding of how the ancient Egyptians used these terms, instead of making up shit. And always telling people you concluded this without doing no philology. This is why philology is one of the strongest branches of linguistics. Because you can say it was this, it was this, it was that, and you can't show one text where they use it that way. You provided for. Do you know that is sa'ant? Now this is a sa'ant T. Sa'ant T we. So this isn't in a segmental form. It's still sa'ant T. The T is a feminine providing. This looks like a feminine providing. Yes, the suffix pronoun, a feminine suffix. Oh, what I didn't even say was that one, but nevertheless, they did it. You have provided for me daily, right? You let live, you sa'ant. Come on, man. They really be wanting y'all to think that means sa'ant Egypt. So, can I ask a simple question? Besides Ra, and I gave y'all my explanation for that, is that you can sa'ant any seemingly living entity. Because Ankh is life. So what, you gonna bring life to the ground? Well, unfortunately, the ancient Egyptians never did that. And they damn sure never sa'ant Kemet. Not no text. The sa'ant Kemet we got right there is talking about people. And we're gonna keep on proving it. Horus has given you life. We went over those. Let's get to the next one. You provide for me daily. You sa'ant for me daily. He who lives on the foot, he who sa'ants. You reaches you in, who lets you live on the foot. I don't know what that is. Your body is in Mer-Ra. Your body is in Mer-Ra. Sa'ant your body. That was just the first page of Sa'ants. It's only 20 pages. Wait. It's 440 sentences, but it's 20 pages. No, it's 45 pages. I'm only on 11 of 20 of the 449 sentences that there are. I ain't gonna do them all. But we could just skip through any page and see if sa'ant ever mean anything about anything other than a living entity. Stop acting like you know the Medunet are just better than somebody just because you think you do. Display that. Your body is in the Pepi. Ra, revive your body. What is reviving your body? Sa'ant jet ek. Sa'ant jet ek. Sa'ant jet ek. Revive your body. It's about living entities. Have we came across one entry? And I'm going in chronological order, which even strengthens my case. From the Old Kingdom, and I'm still in the Old Kingdom, Pepi. Did they ever use this to talk about some ground or something? May you transfigure him. But when you come to this one, look, all of a sudden, he gonna sa'ant Egypt. They think we stupid. And I think they never probably thought we'd come across a person who could explain it as commonly and just on the ground level like I could explain it. You got two of these. Let me put a circle around these. You don't even need to look at nothing else. These statements are identical. Anybody tell you they not? Lying. They lying. This says Kemet, black. This says pot, people. No, but I don't want you to think they're talking about the same thing. Patrons. It's not black patrons. They're both classes of people. If your brain looking at this and you're not seeing how similar these two are, you tripping. You ain't gotta know metadata. This is how people fool you out of shit. You think you got to know something to look at what's inside of the circle and point out the differences? It's only, look, this T is the same. So the literal only difference is you got an I6 right here and you got a P and an A right here. That's not a Kemet to you. If you translate that as a Kemet to you, you won't be able to. If I talk to you about translating that as a Kemet to you, and we start to have a deep dive discourse about that, you'll see why you can't translate that as a Kemet to you. Nor did Diop. Diop didn't translate this as a Kemet to you. He translated this as Kemet. And if I pull up the text, the scholars don't translate this as a Kemet to you, nor do they translate this as pot to you. What I said earlier is it's a mistake that we can make is when we see the two people and the three lines to think that it represents the TU bird and that we should do the TU. But if you do that here, we won't be able to, the hypothesis will fail to work, as you'll see once we discuss it later. But this would just be Kemet and pot. As a matter of fact, I don't even think the word pot to you is in the dictionary. Even though you see right here, three strokes and the man behind that, that's just pot too. It's not gonna say pot to you. Look, here we go. See? So the plurals are in use there, Sar, but it's something I learned late on when trying to figure out why Diop didn't call this a TU. And why Serge Sanaran said, no, they wouldn't say Kemet to you. They say Kemet. Remember? And so I used to teach that, and I learned as we learned. Because if you say Kemet to you, they're going to have too many bases to say those inhabitants of or those who are related to. And if you look at, just like I'm showing you right here on the screen, they don't put the TU on it so that for that same particular instance. But you write about everything else in your transliteration. I just want us to not put that TU on that, because then that helped them mess it up. Now here's one to give you something. I want to do this because we got to understand that grammar changes. So I want to do this for Brother Asar. Here's a TU. Now, you're going to say, oh, that's being unfair, right? This is what they do. I don't do this. The scholars do this. If I pull up the transliteration to this text, you know this word, I went to you, right? I'm not speaking authoritatively on that. Sorry, that's just my take on it. We could try to qualify it later. But that's just my take on it. Think about what Diop said. He said Kemet. And now on this one, this is a I went to you, which there is a TU on here. And so we could talk about the differences and how that changes and happens. But I still never got to get down to the goody good. We already seen how many instances of sank was only talking about living entities. We can continue. I've done this whole research in order to not be half-assed when you on YouTube. And other people who tried to do it to debunk me, only came up with one. And the one they came up with, I think they found it in another text corpus of from another time period. Or they found it in this one. But it was some argument that we had about it. And so I'll show it to you. Because he tried to say they see sank the Kemet. And this attestation that Chris brought forward, they don't sank the Kemet. They sank ta. So he found one where they do sank ta. But I'm like, well, if in every other instance, Chris, when they're saying, right, sank, they're talking about living entities. Like, let's see this one when we translate it. Watch it be a living entities. To give you life, to join your bones together. To sank. That's another living entity. Let's go to the next one. Like, how exhausted do I have to be for people to stop saying dumb shit? There's no way that could have been black people. So we're looking at the grammar of the term. Oh yes, Chris is good, around doing good. Let me see. Warrior Horus, who is above. Again, that's the one about rock. I got it from there by flooding the water, launching the ship, and supplying the troops. Sank the troops. I broke 2,000 stones. I mean, I'm going to not keep doing it. You're going to say, okay, we get your point. Let's see if any of them, I'm just going to zoom through them. In living your brow. Let's just look at where it say to give life. Gives life to my ot. My ot is an entity. My ot isn't a rock or a piece of dirt. Revive your son. Who is he? You have brought them to take and give them life. Now notice, this is the same exact glyphs that you see here. Sank. To give them life. What I am proving to you is that there is definitely a chance that they're talking about people here. When only after you say sank, you always talk about people. See, this is what the homework they don't do. They don't be in the text corpus like me. You even hear them publicly be like, I'm talking about years ago, dog. It's not right now. Cats are on the other things, doing other research. I just want y'all to know. You heard cats complaining about how hard I be in the text corpus. If he just would get out the text corpus, why? How did that help? Then what I got to go off? Hold on. I didn't see him now, but Chris be around. He was there yesterday. All right, so there's definitely a chance that this term following sank NF he has enlivened is people, not a nation, Egypt. That's horrible. As a matter of fact, he's never going to sank no nations. So, all right, that wasn't my key research. My research was to see if he sank inanimate objects or living things. And my research has proven so far in this video, and we could keep exhausting this, and you'll see that it's only one in this whole text corpus that where they're talking about something in this late period. It's not Pepe now. It's not nobody in the 10th dynasty. Somebody way in the 20-something dynasty used sank wrong. I can say they used it wrong because 438 Egyptian scribes used it to talk about living things. And one Egyptian scribe used it to talk about something that was not living. Now let's try this one. Behold, I have reached today together with you by providing for you, by sanking for you. Man, I know anybody watching this channel know goddamn what sank mean in the ancient Egyptian right now. After watching this show, it means to provide for living things. Look, it is my son who let my name live. Now I said it is to provide for living things, and that just contradicted me. So I need to correct myself. Because the true thing about Sa'ank, remember, let me break it down grammatically. We're going to go back to the word Ankh is the root. That means to live. Then you put an S in front of it, which is a causative S. So you got Sa'ank, to cause to live. So if I don't explain this to you, you might not know why I had to correct myself here. If it's to cause to live, then all of the things don't have to already be alive because you're trying to live in it. But you don't Sa'ank inanimate objects. You don't Sa'ank things that aren't living. As you see, well, I said it wrong again. You can Sa'ank the deceased. You don't Sa'ank things that have never lived, like a stone or a building or a city or a nation. You don't Sa'ank those. And if you do, I'm going to be the dude who look like he don't know, that know, and I'll be sitting in the back looking like this in the lecture. You're going to be thinking I'm on some try to be cool shit, and I'm the one who know. You don't Sa'ank the ground. That got me so, I be like, man, why cats be doing that? So can I continue, or do I gotta keep showing you? There's no place in this text corpus where any of these Sa'anks is about to go before a nation, Egypt, or nothing. It only go before people. Sa'ank Renef, his name. The name is a part of a man's entity. His beloved, his pledge. Can I stop doing this? Or do I gotta keep showing y'all? Well, what I'll do is go, because we already in the Middle Kingdom. So at least you know in the whole Old Kingdom, they didn't do it. You just seen that. At least in the text corpus. Or it says, God or a person who revives a man. You Sa'ank a man. I'm not gonna keep doing this, bro. It's getting trite. I'm the one great of meals, great of catch who sustains the hungry. Look, the hungry ones of his nome. See, you almost thought you had one. He don't sustain the nome. He sustained the hungry ones of the nome. Here go the word for hunger. It's here. That's just like our word for hunger, huh? See, he got his hand to his mouth. In his city, his sapat, his nome. So I can stop because y'all ain't seen nothing about Sa'ank that got to do with the damn ground. Right? I know I done did it for 20 minutes. Look, none of them. You want to see this one? And I cultivated every field. This is what else you're going to learn. They don't never say Kemet when they talking about farming. Ever. Like, y'all got to step y'all game up. All this fake shit they done taught y'all. Don't nobody be talking about the Kemet. When they do, in the text they do, it's 2 texts when they do. It's negative, bro. It be so crazy. I showed that hella times. The dude cattle got stuck in the Kemet. And it's like, oh man, I forgot something like that. But anyway, and I cultivated every field of the entire Oryx known to the southern and northern frontier, feeding its inhabitants and making its food reserves. So he Sa'anked it. Who did he Sa'ank? Right here. There go some more people getting Sa'anked. Look. Sa'ank, and then you got the people right after that. So look, you see the people? Golly. Look. The dignified sculptor Shinsi who perpetuates their name. All right, I done went through about 5 pages and ain't none of the first, all the way up to the Middle Kingdom, you don't Sa'ank Egypt. Now what they gonna say when we come back to this? I'll be having too much time on my hands. So now what are they Sa'anking? from the evidence I just showed you and from what's even on the damn same text, right? A line under it. They sank people. So what is this then? These are people. Now what is these people? Just say Kemet. And that means black. But hold on though. Because right here, see earlier they had it in juxtaposition. Let me show you. Up here we have it in juxtaposition to red land. And they try to say, oh, this can't be the black people in the red land. How that makes sense? But down here, we don't. And down here, if you want to say if anything, it's grouped categorically with other classes of people. People. So that's nonsense. And that was just a really long response to some nonsense. Now let me look at something else. Because they be trying to, I even had good brother Chris, who's one of the people who keep me on point, try to tell me I could just give him some good questions right now. And I don't even think I put them questions out back then when we was probing this. But I'm looking for one particular attestation. Allow me. And the only place you really could readily find these is like really on my show. Because I had to go through books and books and books to find these. And all of them talking about, it's only two, man, they don't be knowing what they talking about. It's hell of them. But what they only see is Kemet, not Kemu. If you understand that Sergeant Sonoran said they would say Kemet or Kemu, then the attestations we bring forward that say Kemu must be included. So I am skimming through this. I'm looking for this one text. And I know it got green. It got a green outline to the picture. Oh, there it go. Bow. See? You can't mess with bruh. You can't mess with bruh. Because you got to even ask me where this from. And since it's a source material, I'll give it to you. But if I didn't write it on the title to the picture, I'm damn near going to have to go find it again myself. It's not hard to find. It's in the text corpus. But this is the primary. So this is what I mean. The first level of homework is doing this. But this ain't the primary. This is digitized. So let me show you this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you what we're talking about exactly. We're going to put in Kemet since we're done with that last sank. We could clearly see you don't sank the damn ground. Now store that in your what you know about Egypt. Because someday they're going to be telling you about how they bringing life to something, and it better be something that can live. So here's a word for Kemet that means a female ailment, a woman's disease, a woman ailment. There's only two attestations for that. There's a Kemet for the name of a sacred black cattle. There's one attestation for that. We have Kemet, the black land, 375 attestations. We're not going to look over that. What we're going to do, well, I'm kind of forgetting what we're going to do. Yeah, this is the one we're going to do. Now notice this. Just trip. I just be wanting you to pay attention to detail. Look at this. That's 54. This one. Kemet, 375 instances. This one means what? They say the black land, black land. How many glyphs do you see? You see 3 glyphs. You see I6. You see the T. Damn, what is the T? Is it like Y1? I don't know. I6, you see the T, and you see 049. Kemet. KMT. 375 attestations. Keep your keep your notice and shit glasses on. Watch this. Just watch this. Now we down here. Look. You see 4 Latin symbols now. But you still see the 3 Same glyphs. What happened? See? So remember Asar earlier when I was like, we don't want to start translating that as a Kemet to you is because of what this is about to reveal. First, let's be clear. What represents an I here, in some instances, can fall off, right? But how many instances of it do they have? 6. So this would mean that if all 6 instances that we look through, and we just looked through 3 of them, by the way, yes. 3 of what they're trying to say is this, it's actually these. Look, the last ones I was just showing y'all, bro. We worked on it all day. They actually got people behind them. So if we look at even the work that the Europeans is doing, I should not be able to get on YouTube and show you shit like this. What am I showing you? Let's slow down. Let me go back. If you don't see it, I'm going to show you again. This KMT, look, has 3 Latin consonants and 3 glyphs and 375 attestations. If you come down here to this, has the same glyphs, which is what we're trying to understand, but it has an additional Latin consonant. Now we know it's a weak I and it could fall off, but here's the thing. You only got 6 attestations of it. So if it ain't in one of these attestations, then how you know it fell off? See what I mean? Now, why would that be key? You about to learn. You just got to keep following if you don't know why that's going to be key. So the first rendition of the TLA of what they are calling a Kemet TU, it actually has a TU bird on it, right? So that would mean they're justified in saying the inhabitants of Black, but I don't like the inhabitants of. They have another way to say those who are related to, right? Hey, Side 12, I got a quote where Ujahu says that ain't even in their book. But I remember one day you said it was on page 62. He said he got a reference to where I could go see it in the book. See, bro, see how fronting for people be? So look, you will stand before the inhabitants of. See why they put inhabitants of Egypt? They're translating that as Kemet to you. This is so problematic because this is in Pyramid of Pepi, 6th dynasty. The term Kemet as a toponym don't occur to the 12th dynasty. So how you gonna have people of a location before the location? That's not what you're tripping off. You're going to come down to this other one. So now you see one of the Kemet to use don't even got people behind it. This Kemet to you, number 2, no people behind it. Or it don't got no reed leaf to fall off, by the way. None of these do. Do you see a reed leaf that can fall off on this one? Or do you see a TU bird on this one? Well, that is supposed to be a TU bird because this is the same Peppy one. So that Uchik is supposed to be a TU bird, right? Now we get to the one where you see the people. And guess what? We got a Sank F Kemet. But you know from studying with me that you don't even have to trip off the Kemet. You already know when ancient Egyptians say Sank. Well, right here we got Sank NF. You know when ancient Egyptians say Sank NF, what follows it. All right, let me get somebody who's just watching this show for the first or second time or whatever. If you're digging, if you're following along, Tell me what follows sank NF, bro. Please, somebody. That's going to be dope if you do it. And look, that glyph that I thought I was trying to see what it was, they got it as a different glyph. That's not true. So first of all, let me explain something. When you say most of these examples, most of these early examples of Kemet either write the word with no determinative or else the cultivated land, I would challenge Ogden Golet to show me that. Because I look at those all the time. And I can pull them up in under 1 minute. You know I can. I do it every time you mention them. Right? And so it's only, like I said, 2 in a text corpus that got an N23 or a N36, and possibly 3. So saying most of these examples is just nonsense. But look, you know what sank NF means. Some people gonna follow it. And then to help you know some people gonna follow it, they really wrote some people. But what do they say in the text corpus? Egypt. Egypt ain't people. Egypt is a nation. So they want you to, so they put this in parentheses. Now back to Asar earlier, this is what I was talking about. You see they got the people here, but they don't transliterate a TU. They say this is not Kemet TU, so they agree with Diop that this is just a Kemet, but it got people behind it. So what did they have to do? They had to put some shit in parentheses to try to make sense out of their translation to make it not say black people. You don't need parentheses to read this as he has given life to black people. No parentheses, you just read it. If you want to change it, you inject some other stuff inside the parentheses. This is the exact text we have been looking at all day. But what I want you to see is another rendition of it. This one. Now, this is the one that Brother Chris thought I couldn't get around him. Brother Chris is so good. But I'm Smash Rockwell, y'all. Like, I'm talking about from rap, the hands. I'm talking about, like, Metal Netter. I mean, high performance cars in Oakland. I've been on the top of everything I just got through mentioning. Because it's like it's just like some of us got this, we understand. I don't got it figured out. I'm not one of them. I'm just showing you that, yo, some people can fuck with it like that. Stop tripping. The TLA is far from everything documented. Give me a favor. Give me one attestation in this video, Site 12, of this Kemet that's not documented in the TLA. Guarantee you can't do it. I guarantee you cannot do that. So shut up. I know you might be, what was Woo Woman name? You might be Woo Woman. What was Woo Woman name? You might be Woo Woman, Side 12. I always thought you was a man till now. You might be Woo Woman. Hey, check this out. Yeah, I'm close, y'all. Huh? Check this out, Shazboo. That's Emmy Cat. It took me hella long to figure out who that was. It took me hella long. That's Emmy Cat. Shout out to Emmy Cat. You just lost your masculinity. You're going to have to show me you a man, Side 12. Because I think you Emmy Cat. Hey, think about everything she been posting this whole time. No wonder you know Woo works so well. Oh, you've been Emmy Cat this whole time. Shout out to you. We appreciate your work, Emmy Cat, Side 12. I finally figured you out. And even if you ain't, you should be ashamed that I really think you are. I really do. But yeah, I think I hit that on the nose, huh? Did I hit that on the nose? Yeah, that's Emmy Cat. Now let's look at this Kemet. Right? Let's look at this one. And this one makes them mad. Why this one make them mad? Because they damn sure ain't talking about Egypt in this one. Because you got to read the story. And they not even in Egypt. They in the Levant. They in the Levant. And they meeting with a king up in the Levant, right? Soon as I figured out he was in the cat, he gonna come back with my mellow. That's how I know you a woman. Men don't say my mellow no more. You trying to find a masculine slang to say after I just accused you of being a woman? You really giving it up. I peep shit, bruh. Don't even write nothing else. Anything you write, I'm gonna be all over it. Page 62, my mellow. Why did you put my mellow? Because you're trying to prove you a man? A mellow is a man. My man, my mellow, my man. You trying to say masculine? Oh my God, you two see through it, Emmy Cat. And you went to all capitals after that. Oh, you switched up. I'm sorry. You can't be her though. She's wonderful. I never thought anything about her, but she was hella smart. So, and I'm giving you a compliment. If you take the gender out of it, her status in this shit is high. So that's how, if I think your anonymous character is her, then I think your knowledge level is high. We could take the gender shit out of it. But look, now right here, don't let Wu know. Don't let Wu know. Now let me see. Right here is the instance of Kemet that they can't say, oh, it means Egypt. Now, we probably can't identify this sentence structure right here. And I'm glad I didn't just reveal it. But you should know this is a boat by now, a depot. A depot, right? But let's just read all the meta nature. All right, can I? I know this is a boat, but I don't know what's going on here. This is some different type of boat. Oh, this is a MCAD. So this is down. MCAD, this is a direction. So this is MCAD downstream to this place right here. Ooh. Now, if I go to the translation, it's going to say downstream. MCAD, you see the boat to this location, right? Nah is going to be, this is a different time period. So this when I click it, it's going to say NAY. It should say NAY. Nope, it still say NA. Let's see. These. Well, it's the same word I thought it was, but they could say nah or nay. These, so downstream to these, now what are these? Boats, right? Belonging to, so this ain't Egypt. The boats don't belong to Egypt. Nah, seriously, the boats, don't think like a navy, no. So what does this mean? Kemet. I'm saying this is black people, but you see an 049 determinative here, and the A1 determinative has been substituted out for another man glyph with his hand to his mouth. So a well-qualified person, Brother Chris, said to me, I don't translate this as black people. he translates this as Egyptian speakers. So what I just thought about after about 6 months of thinking about this is Brother Chris is committing something more egregious than any of us. Because I'm saying this say black people. That means I'm saying Kemet means black and this means people. He's saying Egyptian speakers. So he's saying this means Egyptian. See? Which it don't mean, and it couldn't mean. You can't take the black out of it. So let's, to be fair to him, because he's one of my teachers, let's say, okay, Egyptian speakers don't work. Why? Because this isn't a Semitic text. This isn't a text from the point of view of the speakers who were in the Levant that they were visiting. This is an account of what the ancient Egyptians did when they got there. They wrote their story of what happened. So if they were saying about their own selves downstream to this place, these boats of Egyptians, when it's them. But how would you say them? I'm saying black people? No. Egyptian speakers? No. I say black heralds. I was forced to say that for this one. Because we got the people, but he got his hand to his mouth. And when we read this text, they're going to say something that indicates why his hand is to his mouth. So it's a ship of, why would it be going down the stream, a ship of Egyptian speakers? That's stupid. But going down the stream of black messengers. Messengers from the black community. You can't get away from that, because watch what happened. Jed said, there says, sayings. What is this Jed with the 3 strokes? If this means to say, what is the plurality on it? Oh, one who says. This is one who says. This is going to be, one who says. Right? Because it's Jedu. Let's see if they transliterated Jedu. No, did they do? No, they didn't put Jedu. They put, oh yeah, they did plural. Jedu, yeah, plural. Well, Jed can't be plural because you ain't saying shit. So it's probably Jedu, one who says. So that's a speaker. I told you. See? Now let's slow back. I told you this is about them being, you already know that, and I'm not taking this. The reason why I said heralds is because they're not just messengers, they're messengers for the king. Right? And then that makes the context perfect. You know what I'm saying there? So I had to say heralds just to get off messengers of the king. But this boat belonging to the black heralds, give me a better word for black messengers. Messengers belonging to the black community. There, with these words for or belonging to the king. So they got words belonging to the king, right? So there you have it. They gotta be messengers or heralds. Do this gotta be Egypt? Or do this, I'm reading it how it's written, black. This is black people or people of the black community. What I would say best is this. If you want something more qualified than what I'm saying, listen to this. Brother Chris, the ancient Egyptian language was called Ra-Ni Kemet. So if this was merely Egyptian speakers would never work here. That don't make no sense from the ancient Egyptian perspective. To say those who spoke Egyptian, you say those who spoke Ra-Ni Kemet. Got him. So therefore, that don't work here either. This is Depet Neat Kemet. And this Kemet got people that you can't ignore because the whole story is about them getting a message. So did Egypt get the message? Did Egypt get the message? The king of Kemet sent out some Kemet TU to go get the message. But here we simply got Kemet. So the king of Kemet sent out some Kemet to go get the message. But let's keep reading. Their words belonging to the king or the ruler. I said the king at first. The ruler of, so he ain't even the ruler. So let me slow this down. I might have said the story wrong, and I told you I correct myself publicly. These words that they trying to get is from this ruler. Look, the ruler belonging to Uwachit, whatever this place is. Let's see what this place is. The ruler belonging to I was close. Ulaza. I was close. I said Ulab, but I was off. I said Uach. Yeah, that's what I said. M. Then we see the horns and the, now, by, this say, wepetu. But this would normally be a way, a road, or something. I know it's not because of the determinative, which is a class for the word. So check this out. Wep could also mean to open, right? And they're talking about words belonging to the ruler of this other place in opening, in opening speech, like this. Let's see what it is. In what? Message. I'm so stupid. See, I told you it was a message. Why did I call myself stupid? Because we could have figured that out if I would have just waited for a minute. Because obviously we know it's a message. He opening his mouth. Remember I said open and then he pointed to his mouth? Seriously. So that's a message. Remember I was like, this got to do with opening. And then it's a mouth. The category is a mouth. Duh. You open your mouth, you're not eating, you're delivering a message. So that was the message, right? And this is all broken up. So we're going to go to the next one. But north to Urzala in one of these ships of the Egyptians. Told you that don't work. So they put Egyptian speakers. Let me reiterate this. There's no way to say Egyptian speakers in ancient Egyptian. They trying to fool you. Smash 100% right on this. How do you say Egyptian speakers? You say Rodney Kemet. See, Rodney Kemet literally is the mouth of blacks, but it's the mouth of those from Kemet, basically. That's the name of the language. So how could a person write Kemet and y'all getting Egyptian speakers? My term is perfect. If you say black messengers and go look at the word for messengers or heralds, let me pull it up in the dictionary. It's gonna be like, oh, he killing it. Guess what determinative it got? The same one we talking about. I don't know how to spell. I don't know how to spell. There we go, heralds. And it ain't in there, herald. Let's see. All right, either that's my spelling. I know it ain't H-E-R-A-L-D, right? Am I spell that wrong? Let me see. The reason why I'm using these terms is because these are the terms I've seen in the dictionary. referred to as an announcer of important news. He's not just a messenger, but let's see if I put messenger. Maybe I found it in the TLA. A herald transliteration. No, not transliteration. Come on, bro. How y'all been enjoying y'all summer? Anybody been getting out? It's time to get on that water, man. So I'm looking for a herald, right? Now, this is a generic term for a herald. Not saying the heralds of Egypt, but what determinative do they all got? The man with his hand to his mouth. A speaker of this location. Where is he at? Hold on, let me see. No, he's a divine, that's a divine epithet. If I can find just the herald, you seen it with the first one. He got his hand to his mouth. But I'm not trying to act like just because he got his hand to his mouth that mean that. We already know it mean that because he's a messenger in this story. So let's see if I can go back. Almost at 3 hours. I'm gonna have to do something. Well, let me see if I can go back. Where Emmy Cat go? Let me see. Maybe it's on this one. I don't know. I got too much going back to do, and then did I close the page? I can find it again, maybe. Go like this. It don't matter because I got it right here. We can read it however. We can read it with their training reels, or we can read it from the primary. When you look at the primary, you got to find it. But Smash already did the whole work for you, so you just go to where I went. Let me see. If you ever find a book that got this primary in it like I have, you're going to see it's right here. So now you see something different. You see the word Kemet, the two people, the man do got his hand to his mouth, right? The three strokes under them, and then we see the 049 determinative and the ret term. Here's another one. Look, so I remember when they was like, there's only one or two of them, and I was doing all this damn homework, like, man, I can't wait till we debate. I'll put all these on the screen, had cats looking crazy. Ain't none of these in none of their books. Not these. They did a complete analysis on it and didn't even speak on these versions of Kemet, where you can no way say they talking about a nation, unless a nation came on the boat. Did the nation come on the boat? Maybe the nation was on the boat. Let's go back to reading the story. So I can wrap this one up real quick. Let me see, but I ain't rushing. You don't rush either. And thanks for the contributions. Hit the cash app. I ain't seen it, but I know y'all always do it, so I appreciate y'all. Let me see. So this one, Kemeti. This is what we're looking for. Let's go down to the occurrences and look at these final few occurrences they got in the TLA. SOT 12 didn't bring back no another Kemeti that's not in the TLA like he said he had. Yes, come in. Hold on. All right, hold on. You gotta order some food. Oh, you don't want an Instacart?
I don't want to cook.
All right, hold on. Let me see. I gotta close all these apps. You going to DoorDash?
Or you want me to just get it?
Yeah, don't trap here. Just come back and tell me. I want a bowl.
With chicken?
Yeah. All right, let me see. He has come after he revived Egypt. We looked at over those. We're going to keep going to the last one. So now let's read what happened in this story. And I'll read it to you so y'all can see. Behold, their ruler, the Malki, sent a letter within this ship to the Egyptian speakers. How you do that? Let me show you what I mean. I gotta click into this text. You gotta read these whole stories. These people are on a dock. Let me ask you a question. You're at a dock with hella boats. And suppose your king or whoever told you, take this letter, this message to the German speakers. Think about that. Huh? Take this. No, you put yourself in a real dock. I know we ain't that nautical. I'll be on the water. You ain't never just been when there's hella boats. Imagine me tell you, hey, take this 5th of Remy to the boat with the German speakers. What's the first thing you're gonna know you have to do? Get in proximity close enough to the boats to know who's speaking German. So that's stupid already. You can't indicate from a distance who the speakers are. But what can you say from a distance? You can literally say, give this message to the boat with the black people. You can literally say, give this message to the boat with the black heralds or the black messengers or the messengers from the black community. Because that person could walk off with that and look like, oh, that boat got black people on it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up just something real quick from another presentation from Canva that I did about the Greeks when they seen Egyptians on the boats. What did they say here when they seen Egyptians on the boats? Huh? What did they say? Let's see. Damn, Canva. Hold on. What did they say? What's next? When they seen the Egyptians on the boats, what did they say? This is what they said. In the subplants, Danios, fleeing with his daughter in the Danyards and pursued by his brother Egyptos with his sons, the Egyptides, who seek to wed their cousin by force, climbing the hillock, look out to the sea to describe the Egyptides at the oars, afar off in these terms. I can see the crew with their black limbs and white tunics. But could he hear them? Could you hear people, what they speaking on the boat? On the water, you actually can. But that ain't the case. You're an on-land messenger going to a port to give, going to a port to give a message to a particular herald that's in the port. Describing him as the black messenger works 100 times better than the Egyptian speaker. Unless he gonna go up and talk to everybody, hi, greetings, and see what they speak on each boat. Unless you think it's one boat in the dock, he wouldn't have had to tell them who to take it to. Come on, man, let's use our brains. Behold, their ruler, the Malki, sent a letter within this ship to the Egyptians. Nope, wasn't no such thing as Egyptians at this time period. That ain't who he sent it to. The word they use for who he sent it to is black. After that, there's a man with his hand to his mouth, which indicates a category of speech, and a woman without her hand to her mouth, which lets us know that this is just a mere category for people, and we got this role indicated that these people are messengers. So instead of saying, I gave you my case, Egyptian is an anachronism, And if a person in this time period wanted to say Egyptian speakers, he would have said Rodney Kemet. Take it to those who speak the Egyptian language. He wouldn't have said Egyptian speakers, Kemet. These fools want you to think this word is Kemet. Y'all, the word is Kemet. When did Kemet start meaning Egyptian speakers? Kemet mean black, and you know these are people, and since he got his hand to his mouth, you're going to say the black messengers if you do that correctly. Now let's keep going because he mentioned them again one more time. Look, do act you ships of the Egyptians. What? That don't make sense. Do act you ships of the Egyptians. Selling is what is done to Lebanon. They found the son of the ruler of Bablos together with those 100 Asians in Azula. They made plans for a fight with the ruler of Azula. Yeah, they are. I don't know how to answer that, Yurik, but I know you can find out if there is. The only others, like heralds, messengers, reporters, I couldn't even find reporters, but those are the only type of so-called speakers. Yeah, they know like Akkadian speakers. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they just made that up. They don't. But then he wrote the letter regarding the beautiful face that is yours and blah, 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 the degree to the ruler. Let's see if they mention these black messengers again, or messengers from the black city. At this time, there weren't other black people, huh? Man, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I mean, girl. I don't know what you're talking about, girl. You might get your man back, but I caught you trying to say my mellow after somebody accused you of being a woman. That's some woman shit. Let me see. Northward in them to Byblos, Atum did not create for himself king of Upper and Lower Egypt, who appeared to unite in the inner for him her arms. His two arms are to his detriment, like that crocodile that blah, blah, blah. They just started rambling about the battle they was going to fight. But the question here is, you not getting off with saying, ain't no way that can mean people, y'all. Like they done told y'all in hella videos, it ain't no way. When you start to learn the language, when you start to learn the grammar, or when you start to learn the grammar, yeah. Or when you start to learn the grammar. See, once you learn, how many times they hit you with that? See, once you learn about the grammar. Because that's what they might as well do. They might as well be like doing this shit. Hold on, what's up?
I might as well just go to Chipotle.
All right. All right. Oh man, this be hella fun. I be forgetting the camera. I be looking up at the screen, looking at all the scholarship, hollership. I mean, this is stuff other people done. We just observing it and making sense out of it and using our. Well, when you got sources, it ain't intuition no more. Intuition is the ability to do it without no sources. To come up with the truth, the correct answer. All right, that's been 3 hours, man. I wanted to open up the stream, but I'm going to have to come back later. Hopefully I can open up the stream. I guess Side 12 ain't Emmy Cat. I'm going to stop calling you that. It's no disrespect meant by that. I said take the gender out of it. Right now, you're just an avatar. Feel me? I don't know what you is. But she's a star when it comes to the metal nature. Nothing bad said about her. All right. I guess we about to go. I thought I was smelling food, but people act like they want to buy something right now. What's that I smelled in? I got to go see. Nubians wasn't around. Whoever said that is an idiot, bro. Thank you, UKA. Dude, there's not no such thing. Man, why you say, oh, you know what, UKA? That was fake knowledge that they put, SOT12 put that information up so that I could retract on what I think about their level of knowledge because I'm getting really close to pinpointing who they are. Yeah, so he put up some crazy shit like Nubians wasn't around to make me think his knowledge level ain't like a Wujahu or a Emicat. I'm not that stupid, but I'm really sharp. Like, you're not gonna post no throw-off shit. I know you know better than that, SOT12. At this time, there weren't any other black people, so the Egyptians had, that was a fake post, y'all. Look at this shit. Like, learn how to be on the internet, y'all, because these motherfuckers do all kind of shit. They'll get to posting some shit that you know they know ain't the truth, so you would think that their avatar is different than who they really is. It's like when I go on my fake account and I want to bash Ankh, I spell Ankh wrong sometimes. So y'all can think that it ain't me. I'm just telling y'all. On some real shit, but I'm being funny. Say I wanted to go on another account and bash, I'm gonna sell brother Unk. Then y'all ain't never gonna think it was Smash, huh? I'm having fun. That's how I can see through you, SOT12. That sentence you put up there about at this time there were no other black people, so the Egyptians had to shut up. Shut that shit up. You need to get kicked the fuck up out of here talking that bullshit. Wasn't no Nubians around. Man, somebody get him up out of here. You just got smoked, bruh. Don't let SOT12 type no more shit. Wasn't no Nubians around. That's the dumbest shit. I said some dumb shit probably on this show. That's the dumbest shit out. Do you know, bruh, let me look up the Nubian industrial complex for you. If that's right. I said industrial. Let me see if that's right. Nubian, INDUSTRIL complex. Man, come on, I might be right about hella shit. Golly, I might be right about hella shit. I'm gonna act like I don't be right. Let me put this on the screen because you don't know how dumb that shit sounds. Wasn't no Nubians around, bro. Watch this. The term Nubian industrial complex primarily refers to archaeological concepts related to the Middle Stone Age and Middle Paleolithic. Nubians been around since before you don't even know them numbers. I bet you don't know them numbers. Look, the complex is definitely by the use of the Nubian, what is that? Lavalius reduction strategy, a characteristic method of shaping stone cores to produce specific types of pointed flakes and blades for tool making. Archaeological evidence suggests this technology dates back to the marine isotope stage 5, roughly 128,000 years ago. He said Nubians wasn't around yet at 3000 BC. Shout out to you, Brother Flag. I got a little sense of humor. It's always cool to inject this sometimes. But yeah, this boy went crazy. Talking about the Nubians wasn't around. I hope y'all blocked him And y'all can block him for however long y'all want to block him. You want to put him on 2 weeks? Block that boy. All you do is talk. He don't never contribute. He contribute a lot. Take that back. SOT 12 contributes a lot. All right? It ain't one way to contribute. Huh? You going to the store? All right, I'm about to go and get this food with my daughter, y'all. Matter of fact, I'm going to go with you so we can chill. All right, y'all. Don't let nobody tell you none of that whack stuff. What they going to tell you? Egyptians wasn't black. They was trying to bully you till they ran in the smash. Then I said I slapped the shit out of them and they didn't want to box no more. So that just folded. So then what happened? I mean, hey, what I'm supposed to say? Shit. I love y'all. Y'all rocking with the right channel, this Smash Rap. If y'all want to hit that Cash App, I'm about to go take my daughter to lunch and y'all will be affecting that. Go on and help. Go and kick in. Do that thing. We out of here. Thanks for taking care of my lunch with my daughter because I know y'all always do it. Peace, 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 peace.